So today is a slightly different video. We're going to be looking at my brand new Africa Twin from 1994 with 77,000 miles on it. Here it is, my brand new bike. As I said, 1994, 78,000 we've just clocked over on this bike. I've owned it for about 2 months now, bought from a fantastic owner, which I'll get to in a minute. But the whole reason for swapping over from the Bonneville, which I think people really did enjoy, it's a real different series for me on the channel. And while the Defender videos do well very quickly, the bike ones seem to consistently do pretty well. I know this will come with mixed opinions. The Bonneville was great and I do love it. I've had two, and I've also had the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XC, and it feels like that was a great bike, very new, but this does the same thing, but just it does it all a bit better and lacks in some areas as well. First of all, it's a fantastic looking bike. I really like it. 3 years older than Boris, 1994, 1 year older than me, and it's absolutely wicked. I love how it has been used, looked after and serviced, but not sort of pampered and worried about. It's not done much off-roading, but it's done a lot of miles in its life. It has got a bit of rust here and there. There's bits showing where it's been dropped, but since I've had it, I've just looked after it enough, and I just don't want to go too crazy in it. I just want it to last and work for me. I had been looking for a good few months, and when it came serious, I looked on eBay, and this was on there just around the corner for me in Plymouth, just under where I was born, the house. The first house I ever lived in, funnily enough, owned by a fantastic woman called Lynn, and I'll tell you about that out on the bike. So Lynn, the previous owner's story, did really sell it to me. Owning it since 1998 and doing 58,000 miles on it. I love that story. Two owners, but mainly one woman owner who'd owned it for that long is absolutely fantastic. You assume 77,000 miles or 58,000 miles that she did. Have you been all over Europe? No, actually, it mainly stayed around Devon and Cornwall, a few trips up country, and she used to take her daughters on the back, which is absolutely fantastic. But think about that, since 1998, in the same hands, in the same place, being looked after, and because of that, you've got the records to show, which is absolutely fantastic. Lynn was an absolutely lovely person to buy from. Gave me a good deal on it because she knew I was going to look after it, and here is her with the bike, Joe as she called it, as it is JJO on the number plate, and they obviously had a fantastic time together exploring. But being, I believe, in her 70s now, she wants to downgrade and start riding a little bit less, downgrade in terms of weight, sorry. She's absolutely fantastic, and it was lovely going to see her, to pick up the bike, and it was a great day driving it home. It's funny, I went and saw it and then went back a few days later to actually get it once she agreed a price, and when I went and picked it up, she said, I really did think I'd never see you again, which does show you when you're buying a vehicle, even if people seem interested, they may never come back, or if people seem uninterested, then they do come back. It's an interesting one, but I hate to do the whole used car, kicking tyres, knock money off for this and that. I'll just be honest about it and tell her what I think it's worth and offer her that. And no, it's mine, which is very good. When I'm a bit like this, when I saw Boris and when I saw this, probably just had rose tinted glasses over the whole thing, and there are bits of it which are rough. It's a long time and a lot of miles, and while it is cosmetic and a bit of rust on the frame, which I do want to fix and slowly go over, maybe do a bigger strip down in the future, it's not too bad at all, and the servicing goes out of the book more than once a year, more than when it needs being doing, and that's the main thing. It's a Honda, it's a fantastic engine, and that's been looked after really well, and that is very solid for now. When you go and purchase a bike, a vehicle, a car, a Land Rover, whatever it is, you get very much into it. Well, I do my research and I go on YouTube, and when I bought this, I had it back at the house, I started looking into the videos, and there aren't a huge amount of videos that you might get for certain vehicles or certain bikes, but one person that sticks out is Adam Riemann, and he's got the Warhorse. He went up to Norway on his RD04, and that viewing came after buying this, which has been fantastic. I've watched them all now. He's just been over to the UK, around and Ireland, exploring on his second bike that he built, the Iron Horse. Watching all that is very inspirational, but he makes it look like a BMX, which is absolutely amazing, or a MX bike, motocross bike, and while you watch that and it looks very impressive, you get on it and it is a very heavy bike, top heavy, but as soon as you get your speed up, it is nice to ride. And while it's not probably the best bike to learn on, I'm enjoying that process a bit like a plodding Defender, which is cool. Unfortunately, to mention Adam Riemann again, after seeing his series on the Warhorse and the Iron Horse, this has now proudly been named the Poor Horse. While I did do a little bit of off-roading on the Triumph, it definitely isn't made for it. I did add some upgrades that made it a bit more scrambly, but it was sort of chasing a dream that never was going to come true, even though off-road biking did originate on Triumphs a little bit with Steve McQueen and things like that. I'm not him either, unfortunately. This is definitely naturally set up a load better, the geometry, and it's ready to go. I brought the Triumph here actually weirdly with Sam, my friend, who's got a T7 before the ABR festival, which we went to last year, and dropped it, and I rode over a tree stump and was very unnerving. Trying to stand up on it, it just doesn't work at all. So starting at the front here, it did have a very tall windscreen. While that works off-road, when you are standing up and doing a bit of off-road and you need to be up on the pegs, it's getting very close to your helmet. I think it was about up here. Then I had a little extension and it was getting very close to your face, which is a little bit worrying. So I chucked this OEM style one on, tinted, the little sticker there as well, even though that doesn't matter. The bike came with this grille. When Lynn brought it out of the garage, it was one of the things that really sold me on the bike. She took it off because she got bored of cleaning it. So effectively I have put that on, but it did come with the bike, but I think it absolutely makes it. I have put these new gaiters on. They're just standard ones, so like an aftermarket kit Honda. They look nice and brand new. I also refreshed the fork oil in there as well. I've put Dunlop Trailmax Raid tyres on the front and back, and it basically had a sort of more of a slightly off-road road tyre, and these look and feel a lot better. It came with these brand new discs because the old ones had cracked. They went on, I did them the day I got it. A brand new speedo cable because it cracked. What else have I got? Came with a few brand new ones of these, so I chucked those on. Up here there's a very 90s looking trip meter. There's a guy called Jorg Howe he lives in Switzerland, and this wasn't working when I got it. Thought it was just because it was unplugged, thought it might be some rusty terminals, but it turns out you need to send it away. He can fix it up for you, put a new O-ring seal on it, and also put speed on it. So let me have a look at that. Turn it on, and here, if you can see that, you've got time, you can get trip there, which is good, and here you've got speed in miles per hour as well, which is really good. Giving the whole bike a bit of a clean over, as you can imagine. I've got my quad lock actually cycling, I believe, mag head. It's a lot neater. It's got a good release system there, wireless chargers, and it's also got the vibration dampener on there as well, which stops the camera from breaking, which is really good. It's got heater grips that came with it from 2003. There's the switch. I'm going to leave those on for now for the summer because I don't need them, but they don't really work. Even though they do come on, they don't get warm at all. In here's the air filter, it's just a standard one, done a full service. It's got 4 spark plugs over 2 cylinders, so I've changed those, which didn't seem to make much difference, but it's always good to do, you know, filters and oil changes. Up here you've got the standard bars, but with an SW Motec little riser that brings it back and up about an inch. I did find that I was bending over quite a bit, especially going uphill. This now brings it up closer towards you, put the bars a bit more upright, but up there it's pretty original. And what's nice about all these things, bar the quad lock maybe, it's all looking pretty original still, which is really good. Just a small jovial one, that is an actual original 1987 Camel Trophy sticker. Exmoor Trim has a load of ones that is new old stock. These were actually printed for the Camel in 87, even though it's not bike related. I think that's pretty cool. That is staying on there. Got a little small carrier there, which is nice, just for little bits and pieces. I upgraded the pegs down here. I wasn't actually going to, but the original ones are about sort of that thick, maybe half the width of this. It's also been dropped, so they're a bit twisted. So these are SW Motec, again, high quality parts going on, which is really nice. Original lever there, and under here there is a super pinion, which is The normal pinion is probably about that wide, and it did have a bit of play, which these do suffer from, but that is twice the thickness goes on there and is super solid, which is a massive help, which is really good. Here I've got the quad lock automatic charging unit. It switches on when the bike's on. You can see here there's actually a bit of an oil leak. I believe it's coming from the rocker cover, so gonna have a look at that soon. Maybe in the winter I'm gonna do a little look over the carbs and the oil leak as well. The latest upgrade going on the bike are these Lone Rider sort of saddlebags, which are absolutely fantastic. There's been a lot of coverage from influencers online, but I just bought these. They are fantastic. They come with sort of sealed bags in there, all unique to this. It all comes with it, and you've got these two sort of saddles almost, I'd say. You slide in and out. And there's another one that goes up in here, but even I didn't need it today, and that clips down. And in there I've got my drone pelly case, which is absolutely fantastic. Fits in there really nicely, super solid. You've still got your rear seat pretty much, but that just goes on there really nicely, clips onto the back there, and then down to here, and it is very solid. That's a great bit of kit. Waited for a pre-order for those for a little while, but they are fantastic. But generally, that's it. There was some gel in here, some sort of mouse mat gel you would use to put your wrists on, which the previous owner's daughters put in there, which actually I felt made the seat a bit more narrow and was a bit more uncomfortable. So what I've done is taken some foam locally, found a company that sell it, and moulded some foam in here that makes this a little bit taller. So I reckon that's sitting about 2 inches higher there. It would scoop in a lot more. That means you've got a bit more of a flatter space to sit on, which does help, as it's not the most comfortable, but it is okay. But there you go. It's a lovely bike. Again, as I said, 31 years old, still very capable, held in high regard by a lot of riders. The front suspension and rear suspension could be upgraded, and might look into that in the future. But for now, I'm learning, and I don't need a crazy bike to do anything on it. It really does it for me, and I'm absolutely loving it. And everything I've done to it has kept it original, but upgraded it slightly. Right then, so I think it's time to get out of these woods. It's a lovely spot, and it's a great place to practice your off-road skills. I've actually filmed a few Boris videos in here. One was the bulkhead preparation video, and the other, I think it may have just been some photography, but yeah, it's a good little spot actually, and I think people come up here to rave, which is probably worse than me coming up here to just film a few videos. It's sort of one of those places where it's like common land. Ooh, little jump. Lovely. So what we're going to do now is head out and just sort of talk about the dynamics of the bike. Ooh, crikey. On and off-road. Off-road, as you can see, not too bad. It's not too challenging though. It's lovely to be able to do what I just did then, bit of off-roading, and then just head straight down here onto the roads, and it's just as planted. I actually feel more comfortable than on this. I like the dynamics of it more than my Bonneville. I like sitting upright, and the Bonneville was pretty upright, but quite low down. A lot more of a bend in your knees, which is interesting. There is a little off-road lane up here, but it looks like some bicycles on the road are blocking it. What's going on here? Oh, thank you very much. Cheers. Not sure what he's up to. Do you want to push? No. I think that's then the main philosophy, but for me, behind getting one of these bikes is the fact that you can just drop onto the road like this, and you've got a great bike for both. While you can do motorway, it is a bit revvy in 5th gear at 70, but it will definitely do it. It's also got the performance when you need it. Revs nice and high. I'd say it's got power everywhere, where the Bonneville was pretty low down. After the remap it was a bit higher, but naturally this has power everywhere, it seems. Ooh, a Morgan, very nice. Hello. They're turning left as well. Everyone's here. You come here in the winter, which I like to do, there's no one here. Absolutely no one here. Woohoo! Chic. Grass. Ah. Hang on. Let's not do what we did earlier. Fall off. Aha. There you go. Right. This bike really is an absolute pleasure to ride on and off-road, and it's fantastic to start my off-roading journey on it. And it's nice that it's sort of semi-vintage, coming into vintage, 1994, similar ethos to Boris to start with, really. It does feel like one of those vehicles that could be mine for a long time, but it's hard to always know exactly if that's going to go to plan, but it's feeling like it's bedding its way into my life and into my feelings, and yeah, it's a fantastic bike. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this slightly different style of video. Next up in the bike series, absolutely loving this machine. It's been fantastic for me, and I'll see you all next time.